Dan Schmitt and do a motorcycle racing TV show, Team Chicago Challenge. But my good friend Denny Firkus has been drag racing as long as I've been racing motorcycles. This is an NHRA National. We're at Gateway International Raceway, or they're calling it Worldwide Technology Raceway, right across the Mississippi River from St. Louis in Illinois. This is the big time. Denny's going to be challenging the Monster Motor Pro Stock class. There's 7 cars total in the class. You can see who is fast, who is ready to take on the challenge. This is the big time NHRA racing. We're going to be sticking with Denny. I'm going to try to tell the whole story about what goes on in NHRA racing. And it's going to be a pretty good show. Don't forget my email. It's teamdan45@gmail.com, and I'd love to hear from my audience. Let me know what you think of this clip. NHRA National Gateway for Worldwide Technology Raceway. It is Saturday morning, September 25th. We're at Gateway, the Worldwide Technology Racetrack, as we see the done right 2009 Chevy Cobalt being unloaded. We ran the first qualifying on Friday. I arrived Saturday morning. Dennis's crew is Steve and Riz, Zuzeka, Tim Jacob, 2 brothers, Eric and Jeff Fleming, Dennis and his daughter Kelly. They are planning on doing a gear change in the transmission after downloading the data that was collected after the Friday run. Jeff and Eric pulled the Liberty transmission out of the Cobalt, and I had a chance to talk to Dennis. We're going to take a close look at this 5-speed manual transmission. Let's see what Dennis has got to say about a Liberty 5-speed.
5-speed Liberty.
5-speed Liberty.
Yep.
And where's that come out of?
Good question.
Huh?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Did you figure out which one we need?
Horizontally split.
Yeah, the gears lift up.
Right.
Easier than the Lenko when you get into it.
Right.
I like the Lenko also.
So how many, what are we trying to do with the gears?
Get the correct ratios in there first, going down the whole track. They're going to change shifts first here to try to get off the starting line a little bit faster.
So these things you've had in stock, these gears?
Yeah, we have a few sets for the car though.
Right.
And that is the
Let's change third.
oh.
Now let's take a closer look at this Liberty 5-speed manual transmission. The center shaft is the main shaft. Now this Liberty has 2 lay shafts, the 2 outer shafts with sets of gears on them. The smooth areas that you see, those are the shift forks. And that's what the gear shift lever connects to the shift forks to change the gears. As you see Eric and Jeff with the 2 lay shafts removed, you're going to see how easy it is to work on this Liberty transmission. As long as you keep track of where the parts came from and you have a basic knowledge of transmissions, this trans looks pretty straightforward. What a beautiful piece of equipment. It is my opinion that the folks at Liberty Transmission have designed and engineered a wonderful piece of equipment. Transmission case is horizontally split. And Dennis tells me you can buy many different sets of gears. The gears really did look well engineered, well machined, and super strong. As we see the brothers putting the transmission back together, and then Eric is now connecting the transmission to the drive shaft and assembling the universal joint. This call has gone out for the cars in the Mountain Motor Pro Stock class to begin heading over to the pre-staging area. And I'm going to take the opportunity to look at some of these Mountain Motor Pro Stock cars. Cars that Dennis will be competing with. Amsoil car, that's what I'm calling it, is driven by John D. Florian. Chevy. The Cobalt is a car driven by Bill Neary. And right next to it, the Ray Hill Driving School Mustang. That car is driven by Mike Bell. Next car we're looking at, another Mustang driven by Elijah Morton. The white Chevy is owned by and driven by J.R. Carr.
Didn't have a parachute in. We're getting it. And that is Bobby.
And then the Aruba car
I'm sure we did with him.
is driven by Trevor Eman as we look over at the Amsoil car. In the background we can see the St. Louis Arch.
Drive on the weekends and
Downtown St. Louis is right across the Mississippi River from
junior ranks and right on up.
Worldwide Technology Racetrack or Gateway.
3.89 seconds, and he earned his spot
As we see,
to be back here in the Final Four.
the Mountain Motor Pro Stock cars are now moving up to staging. We are a few moments away from the first qualifying round on Saturday morning.
Championship driver. And you got Bobby Bodie, part-time funny car racer and college student. But that run they made last night, as good as just about anybody, and that's why they're here. So Bodie.
So I'm going to have to do a better job.
As we see Dennis putting his helmet on
I've got a lot of people here.
and getting strapped in,
All the fans.
it is time
everybody's been
to
awful
go
sweet since all the
racing.
wins, but we're having a great time here.
First
Everybody see
matchup will
Dan.
be Mike Bell, and he's in that Roy Hill school car.
And that big old New Holland dive.
He's matched with
Already got the top
Bill
plate.
Neary.
Ready? And they will now.
That's Bill
Wade
Neary
Bill
in the
forward.
near lane. Mike Bell is in the far lane or the left lane. As we watch them stage,
So Neary just trying to put himself on a qualifying sheet. Mike Bell yesterday let the clutch out, and I mean, that thing annihilated the tire. So although he does technically have a run on, I mean, it was 14 seconds. Thinking that's not what he was looking for. There we go, both of them digging out of the hole. Nice looking run, 6:37, 222 miles an hour for Mike Bell. That's going to shoot him up to the number 4 spot, 6:59 for Bill Neary. The 207 miles miles an hour, and certainly want a little more than that. But at least now they've got something to work with down there. Bring up NHRA Car.
The next pair is Elijah Morton. He's in the near lane. And JR Car in the far lane. Mustang on the near lane versus the Chevy. It is Ford versus Chevrolet.
Be in competition. And Elijah Morton, it's the North Carolina base. Mustang over here on the right side of the racetrack. Little Ford v Chevy thing going on. And 800 plus cubic inches, because that's what Miles Motor Pro Stock is all about. Fast kids, yeah. You're 3/10 behind the fast kid? Man, not good. And the Florian basically daylighted the field yesterday. 626 is number one, 630 is number two. Up shoving the clutch back in. How about JR Car goes 622, 225 miles an hour, and JR Car goes to the top. 622 and 225 miles an hour. I was watching.
Car takes it with a 622 to a 635. Next up, it is Dennis Ferkis, Done Right Racing, Cobalt, 2009. 828 cubic inch engine.
Illinois.
Dennis has got a solo run. Let's see how he does.
Whole lot of torque. Keep your eye on the left front wheel. These things have been known to pick up the left front wheel when they make the gear changes in second and in third. We were talking like a couple of 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Really. Starts yanking on the chassis at the gear change. Watch and listen. .405, 213 miles an hour for Dennis. Good news is that
is a 640 for Dennis. That is the fastest time ever with his Cobalt. Next up, we got John the Florian in the near lane. In the far lane with the Aruba Car, it is Trevor Eamon.
Mixing it up with the mountain motor guys. Hey, if you're going to build race cars all day, why not come out and race car from time to time? Okay, 3 weeks. Toes in the water. Butt in the sand. Somebody bringing me umbrella drinks? Yeah, I could do that for a week or two. We're going to push the Florian back, but don't worry about him. That car will be ready for round number one, I promise you. Let's watch Trevor. Trevor was the number 3 qualifier coming in. Let's see if he can join the cool kids in the 520s, 620s. He ran 6.2. Holy. Sure what's cooler about that car. The fact that it's sponsored by Aruba and vacations out. Trevor goes 627, 225 miles an hour. Welcome to the Cool Kids Club.
It was that Aruba Car going 625. That's Trevor Eastman. And now we're watching the Done Right crew removing the doors and the hood. I'll be pulling the valve covers so they can check the valve clearance and the spring pressure. And we are going to take a trip to the past. One of the reasons I came down to Gateway was so that I could look at their road course, which is located in their 1.25 mile oval, the track they use for Indy cars, NASCAR trucks. This is the 180-degree turn 5 on this road course. This is one of my favorite corners, and I used it to my advantage to pass a good number of motorcycles during the 6-hour race that we ran here back in the year 2000. I should point out that I also ran Gateway back in 1985. But now we're looking at the transition, turn 6 into where you would go back onto the straightaway across this little patch of asphalt. You'll see that later with the helmet cam footage. You could go into the pits to the left and get on the main straightaway to the right. Coming down the front straightaway, this is the corner that you would dive into the infield course. Back in 1985, I ran an endurance race with Second City Racing, running with CCS National Endurance Series, and we ran a road course they had that used the drag strip going down the opposite direction on the drag strip, and they had a little road course next to the drag strip. So I may be one of the only persons here that have rode on the road course, have rode on the drag strip. As we see Steve Carson on the Team Chicago R6, this is 2000. We are running a 6-hour national endurance. Steve just went through turn 5. That's that 180-degree turn. Now Steve is on the apron of turn 6 on this track, turn 3, 4 if you're running just the oval, and making the transition onto the front straightaway. As we see these bikes coming down the front straightaway and then diving into the first corner. Here we see Trey Beatty. He's on Arc-like 750 Suzuki. Right behind him is Mark Young riding the 600 Suzuki with Army of Darkness. As we see him go through turn 3, 4, the big carousel, over to the 180-degree turn 5, as we watch Steve Carson one more time. This was a very good road course. This race in 2000 was a 6-hour endurance. We started at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and ran through 11 o'clock, so we ran at night. I was on the bike when a red flag came out, and I got to take the restart in the dark. This is some great footage.
He's starting from the 3rd row. Right next to us is Team Action Power Ride. They're also on a Yamaha R6. They're in 7th place, but first the midweight superstock. And on the row right behind us is Neighbor the Beast, and they're 1 lap down from us as we wait for the start. Long delay, but this is like starting a dirt track race under the lights on the front straightaway. We wait for the start. 1 minute forward. Head into the first corner. Neighbor the Beast comes by. That's 667. The 24 came back from behind us. They crashed earlier, so they're an hour and a half down because they lost that. They started again to make points. It's right in front of us. That's 24. That's Team Power Sport. It's like 280s up there. 780, racersupply.com. So we make it through the carousel, the short chute, and as you can see, there is an advantage of having lights. There are some dark spots. Now we're in the lit up portion, the back chute. Running about 8th or 9th. One rider peels off to go in the pits. MotoHeaven.com is right in front of me. And they're sponsored by PowerSportsHeaven.com, Wintex Leathers, Bell Helmets, EBC, Woodcraft, Flotex. We go through this first corner. Neighbor the Beast is right in front of him, and they got some great lights. They got the same kind of lights as Army of Darkness as we make it through the S's. Right behind me, it's like Leaning Lizard, number 10. Sponsored by Kawasaki Team Green, Serious Fun Kawasaki, Doug Kane Motorsports as we make it through the carousel. And here's one place where the lights really are an advantage. I can brake later because I can see the corner. Let me see if I can get on the gas, make it by Moto Heaven. Goodbye. Neighbor the Beast now is right in front of me. In front of him, 121. We head down the front straightaway. Into this first corner. See if I can get around these two. I'm right on them. Through the S's. Get on the gas stand. Last Minute Racing's right in front of Neighbor the Beast. Last Minute Racing sponsored by Dunlop and Job, whatever that may be. To come through the carousel, and I gotta get on the gas. Nice thing about this R6, the Team Chicago R6, is I don't have to shift in this infield. Let me see if I can get by. I don't quite make it.
Steve Carson and I ran a great race at Gateway. We were always in the top 10. I think we ran as far up as 6th place for a while. It was a great road course. I ran some of my best laps ever, and racing at night was such a challenge. Lucky for me, we had pretty good headlights, but it was a great time. I was passing bikes, some bikes were passing me, but it was a great showing for Team Chicago at Gateway, starting at 5 o'clock p.m., running till 11 o'clock at night. I just wish we could come back and relive these days again, because I had a great time racing on this 1.6 road course at Gateway. Now we're looking at Eric Fleming removing the bell housing on the done right Cobalt. And then he's going to loosen up the pressure plate and remove the clutch plates. This car here has a multiple plate clutch, sort of like my motorcycles. It was quite interesting watching all the work done on this car at this NHRA National. Steve is removing the nuts that hold the valve covers in place.
Oh, he's got studs. You're just taking the nuts out.
Yeah.
Eric and Dennis are checking the captured data on the done right laptop.
That'll be, what, a 10th?
What's that?
We get the 60 foot where it should be.
Yeah? You can go like 9 inches.
Yeah.
The wax right there, the red bottle. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Colors.
Jeff Fleming is checking the valve spring tension.
640. Higher than it was yesterday.
Man, it tightened up. The car got lighter at the scale.
What was
The
it?
spring tightens up.
What was
here.
the weight?
Oh, you're good. You're good on the weight.
What was it though?
Liz has the. Liz, what was the weight?
Eric is now resurfacing one of the clutch plates. As I asked Jeff about the various work being done right now and what do they expect from the next qualifying run.
So give me a simple analysis of what you guys have learned.
Checking valve lash. Checking valve springs to make sure they're not broke and they're not too light.
And how's the clutch in that?
What's that?
How was the clutch?
A little light. We have to add a little bit more. Should go, if he can repeat his driving, he can probably go in the 30s easily next round.
So you're looking for 400 pounds on the valve?
I'm looking for 400's nice. I'm looking for to make sure that they're no less than 330.
Right.
And now the Mountain Motor Pro Stock cars are lined up in pre-staging for their third qualifying round. I'm calling this the Aruba Car. They got a great paint job on the trunk. They're sponsored by the airport in Aruba, and from what I've read, the family lives in Aruba and their headquarters are in North Carolina to work on the car. As we towed a Rite Cobalt to staging behind the tower, let me point out a few of the rules for the Mountain Motor class. The cars after the run have to weigh over 2,300 pounds. I believe the engines are limited to 835 cubic inches. They can be carbureted or fuel injected, and I believe they all have to run a manual transmission.
Watch the car.
We're good. Oh, these gotcha, boys.
This is now the third qualifying session for the Mountain Motor Pro Stock cars. First up, it's going to be Dennis Ferkis, Rite. Will be up against Trevor Eman with the Aruba Car. Gonna watch them stage. We'll be able to watch the lights. Remember, the way the lights work is when the car first moves into the timing spot, the top light will come on. When they get the front wheel completely in the lineup spot, the second light will come on and the start can happen at any moment. Dennis Firkus in the near lane. Travis Eman in the far lane. Watch the lights. Comes close to the wall on the left side there. Then his turns, 646, 218 miles per hour. Travis Eman turns 625 at 224 miles per hour. Travis did a little bit better than the first time. Dennis did a 640
the second qualifying round. This is 6:46. Next up, we got the Chevy Cobalt, Bill Neary in the near lane. In the far lane, that is J.R. Carr with the Chevy Camaro. Last year at this racetrack, he turned a 6:17. Monster Motor Car, fastest monster motor car, pro stock. Let's see how he does this time. He gets a good launch. 6:30 at 2:23. Bill Neary had a problem. Turns 1369 at 61 miles per hour. Next up, in the near lane, it is John Fiorian from Missouri. He's got the Amsoil car in the far lane. It's Roy Hill, drag racing school. Mike Bell is driving that car in the far lane. Last time up, the Florian turned to 6:24. Mike Bell turned to 6:37. Watch the lights. The Florian gets a great start. 6:24 at 225 miles per hour. Mike Bell had a problem. Turns 21 seconds at 38 miles per hour. Last up, getting the bye, Elijah Morton. Morton Brothers Racing. They are from North Carolina. Driving a Mustang. One of his crew members checking the wheelie bar. He's getting the bye run. Last time he turned to 6:25 at 2:24 for the second qualifying. This is the third qualifying round. Watch the lights. .627 at 223 miles per hour. A good run for Elijah Morton. And now we're looking at the PT Cruiser wheelie car. Nitro Mike Kunz. He's a Canadian. He is sponsored by Nitro Lubes and Access Motorsports. He claims that he does the longest and the fastest wheelie. Go over 2,500 feet. A little fire for the stands, for the grandstands. I believe he turned a 12-second in the quarter mile on the rear wheels. Earlier, I had a chance to look at this PT Cruiser. You can see it is blown. It is a good-looking PT Cruiser. Front hood, he's got hundreds of signatures, and we get to look at his elaborate wheelie system on the back here. Now we're moving on to Sunday morning, September 26th. The Fleming brothers have pulled the trans again. I'm going to take a closer look again at this beautiful Liberty 5-speed trans horizontally split cases, a well-engineered transmission, easy to work on. And now it's cutting time to go racing. The trans is in the car, the drive shaft's connected, the clutch has been put back together. We're watching Tim Jacob putting the floor in. While Steve and Jeff installed the front clip, I had a chance to talk to my good friend, Dennis Firkus.
Okay, Dennis, this is it. We've had, this is your first national. We're down here at Gateway International Raceway, or Technology World Raceway, and it's your first ever NHRA race.
Our
What's
first
your
elimination run.
The first elimination run coming up. So far, how are you feeling about the qualifying so far and what's going on?
I think we'll do just fine. We've made some more adjustments, and if I can hit my shift points and keep the car straight, we'll be, I think, doing okay. But we got a real tough opponent though, John Florian, and he's runs in the 620s, and so far we ran a 640, but hopefully we can make something up on the starting line and run a little faster than the 640. Maybe we can get a 635 out of it if we have a perfect run. Go from there.
But when you're sitting in the car on the launching line, seeing all them thousands of people, you don't pay any attention.
I don't even notice them. That's just like when playing music and that, you know, and they're just all out there. You don't even pay attention to them. I can just pay attention to that Christmas tree.
Right,
I got no time to look around.
Right.
Thank you, Dennis. And now it's time for the Monster Motor Pro Stock cars to head over to staging for the first elimination round. Program is Top Fuel Dragsters first, Funny Cars second, Pro Stock third, Mountain Motor Pro Stock fourth. But first, we're going to hear America's #1 song, the national anthem. As John Force gets ready to go to work, we spot Leah Pruitt getting ready to drive her Top Fuel
Take another look at this.
Mopar Dodge Top Fuel Dragster.
Anton made a better run.
She's not only good looking, she is very, very fast. And this is it. This is what a NHRA National is all about. Top Fuel Dragsters in the near lane. It is TJ Zizzo from Lincolnshire, Illinois with the Rust-Oleum Dragster. A friend of mine I've met a few times, and I believe he watches my TV show in Lincolnshire. In the far lane, it is John Force's daughter. That's Brittany Force. She's in the Monster Energy Top Fuel Dragster.
364, look at the speed, 337 miles an hour. Wow. Oh, man.
TJ had a problem there. I should point out his dad grew up in the same neighborhood as me. He went to Roosevelt High School on the northwest side. Now reside in Lincolnshire. Now we're going to see Leah Pruitt in the far lane, in the near lane. It is Clay Millican in the Power Plus Dragster.
There goes 3.7. Oh, 326 miles an hour, 388 for Clay, only 253. Clay's car looked like it put a silver round down there, somewhere around the 8.
And now we're going to get a couple bunny cars running off. Got a Lexus DeJourna in the near lane. She's on that Grow Kit, ABK Beer, Toyota Camry. In the far lane, it's Bob Caskus III. He's in the Ford Motorcraft, Quick Lane, Mustang. As they stage,
Tasket drives into the next round, 3.927, 330 miles an hour. Look at the tire tracks down there. When it started spinning, moved over towards the center line, and there was nothing Alexis could do but lift. Bob Tasket goes 392, 330 miles an hour, and he'll take that win.
next up we got Blake Alexander in the far lane. In the near lane, it's Dale Breezy Jr. We got a Mustang in the far lane against a Camaro in the near lane.
At the end of the racetrack a little bit, 395, 298 miles an hour. Hey, for Creasy, give credit. They stepped up from qualifying 402, 289 miles an hour. They were there.
Now this is it. Monster Motor Pro Stock. First elimination run. And catching the bye, he's running by himself. That is Trevor Eman. He's got the Aruba Mustang. The family is from Aruba. They're sponsored by the airport in Aruba. Their shop and their headquarters are in South Carolina. That's where they work on the car. That's where they travel from to run the NHRA National Circuit.
Off the 8 mile. I don't know if there was something happened in the car, maybe just saving parts and pieces. Knowing they didn't have to run all out.
The Aruba car is in the quarterfinals. Now we got Dennis Ferkis, Rite Racing, Cobalt, 828 cubic inch engine. He's up against John, the Florian. He's got the Amsoil. John is from Missouri. He works. Jerry Haas Racing Cars. You know this car is set up perfectly. Mountain Motor. Pro Stock cars lining up. Dennis Firkus, first national championship race. Uh-oh, it's like Dennis
Factory hot rod that was put
made
right in the middle of the Super Stock Wars back then, right at the beginning of Pro Stock. It had a Boss
human era as they pushed the Dunrite Cobalt back to be taken back to the pits. Next up, it is JR Car up against Bill Nuri, the Chevy.
Wow, JR dropped the clutch. Bill Neary got distracted on the starting line. JR's car drifted over out of the groove and ended up doing a smack up against the wall down there. JR got there first, but contact with the concrete is an automatic disqualification, so Bill Neary is going to get the round win.
JR car hits the wall and he is disqualified. It is Murray going on to the quarterfinals. It's Dennis Ferkis, human error. when you put yourself in the arena, these are things that happen. I have leathers at home that show how many times I've fallen off my motorcycles running the Weir National Endurance Series. I had friends that crashed their trailers on the way to races. Human error is part of the arena. When you put yourself in the arena, when you want to run a national championship event, human error is part of what happens in the racing. Dennis had a problem. Dennis knows what happened. Dennis will be back next year, 2022, and I will be there. In the Mountain Motor Pro Stock Final, it was Elijah Morton with the Morton Racing Mustang, turned a 629 at 217 miles per hour. But it was John D. Florian with the Amsoil Ford Mustang that turned a 628 at 223 miles per hour. 1/100th of a second is what separated the victory in Mountain Motor Pro Stock. For more information on Dennis Ferkis, Done Right Racing, and the crew, it's Facebook. Go to Done Right Racing on Facebook. For more information on Worldwide Technology Racetrack, it's www.traceway.com. For the National Hot Rod Association, it's NHRA.com. Contact me, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. I love to hear from my audience. I'd love to know what you think of these clips. Remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action. And I highly encourage you to travel to the World of Motorcycle Museum, Winamac, Indiana, just off Indiana 39, 4 miles south of North Judson. Give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great collection of motorcycles and a great trip. I had a great time at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. It was a learning experience. I've been to hundreds of nationals, but it's the first time I've been to an NHRA National, and it's pretty impressive.